What is poppin'? What's going on YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. Appreciate you guys for watching today. Be sure to smash this like button right about now, as it does help these videos get to the public and the channel to grow overall. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly, and almost every single day if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you do not miss a single one of those videos that I post. It's only right, guys. Alright, let's talk about these Oakland Raiders. Yes, you read the title right. The Oakland Raiders are going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I'm on the Raiders bandwagon right now as far as making the playoffs. You know, but I want to first start by saying I was wrong about the Raiders. I really was. This team is better than I thought. I thought they were gonna win 6 games, which actually is a 2-game improvement from last year. But I thought that next year was the year we start seeing these type of things from the Oakland Raiders as far as them winning more games, okay? But again, this year, they're about a year ahead. They really are. Jon Gruden has done a great job with this team, and you can really see that Jon Gruden inspires this football team. You know, I got a chance to watch Hard Knocks, you know, during the offseason, you know, in the summer. It's a great series, okay? And Jon Gruden, it seems like the players really enjoy playing for the guy. Jon Gruden seems like he's a fun guy to be around. I gotta love Jon Gruden. I have serious questions about him, you know, getting into the flow of coaching right away immediately, because the guy was on TV doing television and doing sports analysts and sports broadcasting for about 10 years. It's hard to get back to your job and, you know, what you normally do if you're out of it for 10 years. You know, if I were to, you know, stop doing YouTube videos for 10 years, then all of a sudden come back and just say, hey, I'm going to make a video again, I might be a little bit rusty. And I think Jon Gruden last year was a little bit rusty, but he's scrubbed off that rust, you know, right away. And I want to talk about the Raiders quarterback Derek Carr, because Derek Carr, there was a lot of talk about, you know, him last year. You know, were they going to draft Dwayne Haskins? Would they draft Kyler Murray? Are they going to move on from him next year? There's a lot. Derek Carr's job was in question. And for me personally, I never bought into it. I always thought Derek Carr was a good, capable quarterback, and I thought that he was the quarterback that they should build their franchise around. I don't think Derek Carr is elite, but if you put enough parts around Derek Carr, I do think you could potentially win a Super Bowl with it. Potentially. I don't know if you're gonna quite do it, but you give yourself a shot. But again, Derek Carr is a very capable quarterback. You know, people forget. In year number 3 of his career in 2016. Now, the key word is year number 3, because as I said in the Mitch Trubisky video, where I talked about how Mitch Trubisky is probably going to be a bust and why I don't have any faith in Mitch Trubisky doing anything anymore. In your 3rd year, that's really where you kind of can tell what a quarterback can be. And Derek Carr in 2016, which was his 3rd year starting, he was an MVP candidate. And until he got hurt, he was really balling out. The Raiders probably would have made a deep playoff run had Derek Carr not gotten hurt in 2016, 2017 before the playoffs started. Okay, but that guy was balling out. Okay, he was an MVP candidate that year. And the thing about the 3rd year starting is the first 2 years, in my opinion, are the greatest periods for a quarterback, okay? That's where the learning process goes through. But your 3rd year is where you really should start to put it together. Your 3rd or 4th year. You know, Aaron Rodgers, for example, he won a Super Bowl in his 3rd year, okay? That tells you how good Aaron Rodgers is, okay? Derek Carr in his 3rd year was an MVP candidate. That shows you how Derek Carr, how good he potentially could be. And this year, you know, in 9 games played, he has a 70% completion percentage. You know, he has over 2,000 passing yards, 14 touchdowns of only 4 interceptions. You know, and last year, the first 6 games of the season, Derek Carr really kind of struggled to get and grasp what Jon Gruden wanted from him in the offensive playbook. It was a new offense for him, okay? And last year, it was not looking good. 7 touchdowns to 8 interceptions in the first 6 games. The last 10 games of the season last year, 12 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He was playing well last year, and he's playing some of the best football of his career this year. And as far as what the Raiders were able to do in the draft, it's really paid off. You know, the Raiders got a lot of heat for trading away Khalil Mack. They got a lot of heat for trading away Amari Cooper. Now, for me personally, I had no issues with the Amari Cooper trade, especially based on what they got back from it. But I had a huge issue with the Khalil Mack trade. I figured you don't trade a great franchise, you know, player like Khalil Mack away from your team. But so far, it's kind of worked. It actually has. The Chicago Bears have won 0 playoff games with Khalil Mack. So how valuable is Khalil Mack? We know Khalil Mack is arguably the best defensive player right now. But again, the Raiders had a ton of holes. how risky would it have been to pay Khalil Mack all that money and you got all those holes to fill? Your defense was trash with Khalil Mack. You might as well just start over, okay? So I think that's what John Gruden's mentality was. And they drafted Clelin Ferrell. They drafted Josh Jacobs. They drafted Trayvon Mullen, Max Crosby, Hunter Renfrow, Jonathan Abram. Now, Jonathan Abram is hurt. He's a great young player that I like a lot, but he's hurt now, so he'll be back next year. But Clelin Ferrell has really played well this year. He has three and a half sacks on the year. Their fourth overall pick this year. He's playing really well. Josh Jacobs is their running back of the future now. Josh Jacobs is a stud, okay? That guy is great at running in between the tackles. He's a workhorse. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He's averaging 4.8 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns on the ground. Josh Jacobs is a star in the making. The guy's a stud. Trayvon Mullen is now potentially their number one cornerback. Max Crosby is a great rookie that they got in the 4th round out of Eastern Michigan that's playing some really good football. He's getting better each and every week. Not the best athlete, not the most, fundamentally sound player, but he plays with a lot of effort. He plays with heart, and he plays hard. You can see it on the field, and Max Crosby is getting rewarded. He's playing really well. And Hunter Renfrow, a guy they found, I think in the 5th or 6th round, they just move him around. They can move him in the slot, move him on the outside. A really versatile guy at the wide receiver position. So the draft picks that John Gruden has gotten have really panned out. And I said in the offseason that John Gruden needed to hit it out of the park with this draft. If you trade away Khalil Mack, if you trade away Amari Cooper, you better get your draft picks right. And John Gruden so far has gotten those draft picks right, okay? And in the offseason, they signed Terrell Williams, who's turned into their bona fide number 1 wide receiver. Darren Waller is one of the most underrated players in all of football. He's playing really well, a great target for Derek Carr. But they also went out in the offseason and signed Trent Brown to fix up and shore up their offensive line at left tackle. And Trent Brown is arguably maybe the best left tackle in the game right now. He's definitely in the top 5. And no Antonio Brown, that's another thing. The Raiders, they lost Antonio Brown. It was right before the season started. Antonio Brown obviously had the frostbite in his feet. He got into the fight with Mike Mayock. A lot of drama around the team. Gets released. It was just so much drama around Antonio Brown. But this team, I gotta give them credit. They stayed together. That's the fact that Antonio Brown got released so close to the season. That can tear apart a locker room. That can put doubts in the locker room to say, hey, why are we getting rid of Antonio Brown? He's a great player. But again, the Raiders have stayed together. You could tell that they are well coached. They play hard. They don't make mistakes, okay? Obviously, they're a young team. They have some limitations as far as their talent goes, but they're always going to be in games. They're always going to compete, and they play hard because they play for John Gruden. This team is 5-4 now. They come up with a big win versus the LA Chargers. And to me, yes, I believe the Raiders are going to make the playoffs this year. Now, let's look at some teams that can make the playoffs as far as the AFC goes. I do believe that the Raiders, they have a shot to win the division, but now that Patrick Mahomes is back, I won't bet on them winning the division. But again, it's not out of the question, but let's just go to the wild card spot because I think Kansas City, they're still a really good team. They have a shot. I think if I had to bet money, Kansas City is probably going to take that division. So let's look at the wild card spot. To me, I look at the Raiders, I look at the Texans, I look at the Colts, excuse me, I look at the Bills, I look at the Steelers, I look at the Jaguars. Those are all the teams I think that can compete and get a final playoff spot. I do think the Buffalo Bills, I know I mentioned them, but I do think the Buffalo Bills have that first wild card spot locked up. They're at 6-2 right now. I do believe they have that spot locked up. Even if the Bills were to only win 3 more games this year, that would put them at 9-7. And based on their schedule, they have the Cleveland Browns, they have the Miami Dolphins, they have the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Browns, the Dolphins, and Cowboys are road games, okay? The Broncos game, they get at home. The Ravens game, they get at home. At the Steelers, at the Patriots, and Jets at home. So I do think that schedule right there for the Bills screams finishing 10-6 or 9-7. They probably will get in. So I'm just going to pencil in the Bills right now. Whether you think the Bills are a good team or not, I think they're a solid team. I don't think they're world beaters, but again, either way, the Bills have started off the season 6-2. They put themselves in a position to where they can lose and afford some tough losses. They're probably going to get in, okay? So to me, this boils down to the Colts and Texans division. I do believe the Houston Texans will win this division. They were my preseason pick. I believe Deshaun Watson is that great. He will win the division, okay? I think the Houston Texans are better than the Colts. They're going to win the division. So, look, I just don't trust the Steelers. I don't trust the Jaguars. I don't trust the Browns. I don't trust the Chargers. I do think the Browns and Chargers are probably out of it right now. They have too many losses, in my opinion. the Jaguars do get Nick Foles back, but I do think there are some limitations to that team. And the Steelers, I just don't believe in them. I don't believe in this team. Mike Tomlin's doing a great job, but I just don't think they'll make the playoffs, okay? As far as the Raiders go, the reason why I think the Raiders will get into the playoffs probably at 10-6 is because their remaining schedule is really, really easy, guys. They get the Bengals at home. They get the Jets at home. That's 2 wins right there. The Kansas City Chiefs on the road is a toss-up. The Tennessee Titans at home. I can see them beating the Tennessee Titans. I can see them beating the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. I see them potentially maybe beating the Chargers again. That's probably a loss. But again, then at Denver. Denver's a tough place to play. But I don't trust Brandon Allen. I don't trust Joe Flacco. This team's trying to tank. The Denver Broncos have nothing to play for at the end of the year. They're probably going to be playing for draft position in the 2020 NFL Draft. So they're probably going to be trying to lose. The Raiders would be foolish if they lose that game. So I feel like the Raiders in let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 7. So in only 2 of their 7 remaining games are they not going to be favorites. So 5 out of their next 7 games, they're going to be favored to win. So I do believe the Raiders, they will probably finish at 10-6 and get into the playoffs. I believe they'll get that second wild card spot. Now, getting back to the Colts and Texans, I probably should have mentioned the Colts a little bit earlier. I think the Colts, that loss they had to the Steelers really hurt them. And I get it. It's the NFL season. You can say, oh, it's only 1 game. The NFL season is 16 games, guys. It's not the NBA where it's an 82-game regular season. It's a 16-game regular season. The Raiders probably do have the tiebreaker over the Colts because they beat them early in the season. The Colts do play the Dolphins. They play the Jaguars, but they still have to travel to Houston. They still have to travel to Tampa Bay. They still have to travel to New Orleans. And they still have to travel to Jacksonville. Not to mention they play the Titans and the Panthers as well. So the Colts play some really tough teams down the road. The Raiders' schedule really, really favors them. And the Raiders are playing with momentum, and they're not a bad team. I don't think the Raiders are a bad team at all. So I'm going to bet my money that the Oakland Raiders are going to make the playoffs this year based on their schedule, based on the way Derek Carr is playing, based on how well coached this team is, how prepared they are week to week, the offensive weapons they have with Darren Waller, with Terrell Williams, with Josh Jacobs running the football. The offensive line's improved. The defense is good enough. It's not great. It's really not. They still need about, I would say, 2 more additions to that defense, another year of growth from their players, and Jonathan Abram coming back next year. That defense can be fixed within the next 2 or 3 years, but again, not this year. But again, they're good enough to make the playoffs, in my opinion. They do still have an outside shot to win this division. They're only 1 game back at Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes, he's coming back. Now, I don't know how great Patrick Mahomes is going to be when he comes back, so we'll have to see with Kansas City, with Oakland. But again, I do believe the Oakland Raiders are a really good team. They're the most underrated team in all football to me right now, and the Oakland Raiders are going to make the playoffs. That's my bold prediction of the day. Be sure to comment where you agree with me and disagree with me. Do you think the Raiders will make the playoffs? Let me know. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really, really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? Or potentially if it doesn't, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, get other people hip to this channel, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God blessed day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.